Welcome to Financial Matters, another episode of Financial Matters. Today we're talking to Teresa. And Teresa, how are you?
I'm doing very good, thank
Well,
you.
fantastic, Teresa. So what's your story? What's going on in your life?
Oh, I have some questions about with my age and all these things coming at me.
Okay,
Attending seminars that talk about,
different products and whatnot.
Yes.
Teresa, how old are you?
I am 84.
You're 84 years, and husband passed?
Yes,
Okay, husband passed. And so, how many kids?
2.
Two. Both married?
No, one married, one
One.
not.
Okay, grandkids?
Yes,
How many grandkids?
2.
Two grandkids, congratulations. Each kid has two, or each
No,
one?
the son has 2, the daughter has stepchildren.
Oh, the daughter has stepchildren. Okay, well, congratulations. I'm sure the grandkids are the apple of your eye. They're probably great kids.
Yeah, I don't get to see them very often.
Oh, okay, they don't live in
No,
Denver.
everybody lives other parts of the world.
No,
world
so you gotta go travel and get on a plane and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems like you're in good health.
Yes, I am.
Okay, everything's good. So let's just talk about what's going on with your real estate. Do you owe anything on the property?
No, I do not.
Okay, so you outright, you own it. And that's exciting. So are you looking to sell the property?
Absolutely.
And then looking to move? Are you gonna look where you want to move when you sell the property?
Well, debating between owning again, buying a patio home, a cottage home, or into some kind of a 55 plus community.
Okay, senior living kind of
Senior
thing.
living type thing.
All right.
Independent living.
Independent living.
Is what it's called.
Yeah, and my mom is in independent living. She loves it, absolutely loves it. Has a lot of friends, does a lot of things, keeps her real busy. And I know that Denver has a lot of good ones, so that's something that you would sell the home. Of course, when you sell the home, there's gonna be long-term capital gains.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You'd get half the stepped up in basis when your husband died. So, because when your husband passed, half the property will be valued at what the current market was when he passed. So that's always a good news, especially if you labeled it either in trust or labeled it in joint tenants. Did you have the house in a trust? Or was it outright a joint ownership?
No, I think so.
Okay, so it was in trust. So the house is in trust. You're looking to sell, excuse me. So you have the house in trust. Okay, so the good news is that you get the stepped up in basis on half the house. Do you know what that means, a stepped up in basis?
No, but I do know that selling it the same year that my husband died,
You get the benefit of his 250 exclusion.
yes.
And that's exciting. Not only that, you also get the stepped up in basis on half of the property. And then you also get any work or any repairs or any improvements in the property that also increases the basis of the property sold. So at the end of the day, and you have a very good accountant. Do you have a very good
Yes, I
accountant?
do.
Okay, and she's gonna know all these things. So the good news is your taxes are not going to be as draconian as you think. Okay, and that's exciting. That's very exciting. Now you said you went to some seminars. You went to some financial seminars recently.
Yes, and they're kind of talking about annuities, which is something was popular before and then not, now they're back into the
They're very
conversation.
They're very popular, and the reason why annuities become very popular is anytime you have a down year, people start looking at annuities as a way to invest their money. And you're 100% right. Annuities tend to be popular. They were popular in 2009 and 2010. They were popular after 2000, the dot-com bubble. Remember the dot-com bubble, 2000 and 2003. So the bottom line is that why? Because annuities are sold as very safe. Never outlive your income. Is outliving your income a concern that you have?
Yeah, well, it crosses my mind once in a
Okay.
while. Yeah,
Okay. Do you-
because I come from long livers.
You're long livers. Okay, you're 84. So you think
Yes.
maybe you got 20 years. You're thinking 104 is possible.
Well, I don't know about that,
Wow,
but
okay.
it definitely probably 10.
Okay, 10. Well, hey, I'll take my 90s. Palm reader told me I'd live to 91. Well, really? I said, oh, that's good to know. Probably a nice steak dinner.
Yeah, there's good food.
Good food, and they got up and talked about estate planning and annuities.
Right.
Okay. You know what's interesting about annuities is annuities are the number one product sold to seniors. And the big selling point of annuities is you can never outlive your income because they guarantee no matter what your investments go down to zero, they'll continue to pay that annuity. Let's say it's $50,000 a year for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
see, I get suspicious with that kind of stuff.
Well, you should, because to me, an annuity is a compensation scheme. I'm going to be very frank. A lot of people that buy annuities, in fact, I wrote a 28-page booklet on why annuities are not what they seem. They're not a scam, but they're not what you think they are. I'll give you a good example. Had a client go to a seminar recently, same thing, only he had bought an annuity, put a substantial amount of money in the annuity. And he was told it was a 10-year investment, he could take out 10% a year. It gave him, the minute he bought it, it gave him a 30% bonus. So he thought, hey, you're gonna give me 30% the day I buy it. I only have to hold it for 10 years and it's gonna give me market returns without market risk. So he walked into my office, and this is a client I've known for a long time, 15, 20 years. Lives down south, but he did come in. We came into the office, we were chatting about his finances, and he said, you know, I bought this thing that sounds too good to be true. So
Clue one.
So basically what I did was I took all the information, I called up customer service, we did a deep dive, and actually he didn't buy a 10-year annuity, he bought a 30-year annuity. And he can't take it out after 10 years unless he loses that 30% bonus. And the return he was getting on the market wasn't market returns, it was something a lot less than market returns. So after I figured out what he's probably gonna make over 30 years, his present value and his futures value, he was making about 1.5% a year and locking his money up for 30 years. My client's in his early 80s. So was it a good investment? When I told him that's what he bought, he was very upset. He wanted out of it. Of course, there was a 10% surrender charge on that, and he would have lost substantial amounts of money. So I told my client there's nothing you can do other than buyer beware. And he was very mad at his insurance salesman. But you gotta understand something, annuities are a compensation scheme in that the typical compensation for an annuity to an advisor is about 10%. So if a client puts in $1 million in an annuity, they're making a $100,000 commission. And that's what motivates the sale of annuities. It's the compensation. It's a compensation scheme. A lot of these kids, a lot of these late 20s, early 30 kids are making a ton of money by putting these seniors into annuities, and they're not great investments. They're not what they think they're buying. And that's sad. That's sad. Teresa, let's talk about, you said that you have a trust. You said you have a trust, okay? Do you know when you pass, is half the money going to your son and half the money is going to your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. Now, do you know if it's going outright to your son and your daughter, or is it going to them in trust?
I'd have to double check that because I'm not sure I remember.
Okay. I work with a lot of attorneys. I've been doing this for a very long time. And so we always spitball with our attorneys in how to set up wealth transfer. And wealth transfer is something that is always a concern because I see so many of my clients pass and then the kids go to war, especially if it's a big family. And that's nothing I think the parents wanted less than seeing their kids fight after they're gone about the money. And that's sad. So the more transparent, the more you let your kids know what is exactly the trust, give them copies of your trust, give them copies of any transfer documents. When you sell the house and you invest that money, you definitely want to set up the accounts to where it is in trust, so you want to fund that through the account, whether it's through Schwab or TD or Fidelity, wherever you decide to put the money, or in an annuity. You want to make sure that the money, the beneficiary of that money is the trust, and then in the trust, the language is such that it goes to your two kids. Now, what you may want to think about, because we're such in a litigious environment, is your daughter married or is she single?
I would say she has a common law.
It's a common law statute. Okay, so
Yeah.
One of the things you may look at, and your other son and his wife got the 2 kids, they're in a good relationship, they've been married for a long time. It doesn't really pertain to them, it pertains to your daughter's situation. When you leave your money outright, half of your estate to your daughter, and let's assume you sell the property plus your other investment. Let's say you go into adult living, senior living. That's going to cost anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000, call it $6,000 a month, which is, a good amount of money, but there's some reduced expenses. You're not going to have the cost of owning a home, property tax, things of that nature, the electric bill, yada yada. So there's a balance there. But getting back to your trust, so now let's assume when you pass at 104, there's 2 things you want to be concerned about. If they should break up,
Right.
you don't want half of your inheritance going to him.
Right.
Okay? So how do we protect your estate from divorce? And there's a second thing, and that's called lawsuits. How do we protect, God forbid, your daughter's driving down the road, gets in an accident, somebody sues, and they see that she inherited from mom $1 million plus her own assets, and the attorney decides that she hit to go after your daughter. How can we protect that money from lawsuits and potentially divorce? What you could do is you could leave the money in trust to your daughter. She's the trustee. So she doesn't own the money outright, she is the trustee of it. She has the key. Think about the trustee as the person that manages the trust. You can give her what we call ascertainable standards, health education support maintenance. Plus she has access to use that money really for, when you say maintenance, what maintenance? It's a very loose term to say, well, I'll maintain my lifestyle. She can invest that money into real estate, into her mutual funds investments. What's nice about it is she doesn't technically own the money. She is the trustee for what we call the ultimate beneficiary, okay? And she could name her ultimate beneficiary when she's passing. She can name her niece and nephew as she gets older, if she doesn't have any heirs. She could name her current spouse as beneficiary. But what it does protect the money from lawsuits, and it does protect the money from possibly, where if she took the money and commingled it with her common law husband, and now it becomes community property, and then they pass, he goes after that half. There would be nothing worse than you sitting up in heaven and thinking, half of my life savings that Jay and I worked for is going to her ex, right? Or some lawsuit.
So is that a difficult?
No, it's not. It's a simple change to the trust. Instead of saying it goes outright, and this is something I could refer an attorney to you, instead of saying it goes outright to your daughter and your son, it goes in trust. There's a drawback. The drawback is that every year your daughter would have to file a separate trust tax return. Just like if you have a corporation that has a tax ID number, because it would be an irrevocable trust, then she has to file a tax return on her own, and it's a pain in the neck. You're paying twice as many in accounting fees. She'd have to sweep any gain in the trust personally, because she doesn't want the trust to make any money, because it's a higher tax bracket. So you want to talk about with your daughter and say, hey, listen, or even your son, God forbid, if one of his kids should get in an accident, and then the attorney sues the estate because your daughter hit somebody and they're suing over the insurance limits. They see, oh, my son and daughter-in-law have all this money. That could protect that. That could protect that money, where the ultimate beneficiary would be Jason's 2 children. And then,
Now, all of this would happen after I'm gone.
well, we would write it now. It would be in the document, but the documents say, upon my passing, the money will go in trust.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, the trustee will be my son and daughter-in-law, and then the ultimate beneficiaries, well, you could do what we call a power of appointment, or you could just name the 2 kids per stirpes or bloodline, to Jason's bloodline, in case they adopt or something, whatever it may be. Or I'm leaving all my money to my dog. You know,
Of course you are.
So anyway, that's an interesting something we could talk about, or I could definitely get an attorney and we could spitball those concepts and those ideas. Let's kind of swing back in talking about this annuity that when you sell your home, you're thinking maybe you like this annuity, lifetime income, no risk. This is some of the things they talked about, okay? I don't think that's a good idea. I actually, with interest rates of where they are today, interest rates are higher than they've been in over 21 years. And that creates a real good opportunity. I think this is the best time to invest in 21 years. I don't care whether the market's going up or down. Because what we can do is, one of the things we do at our firm, IPS Strategic Capital, is we've shifted all our clients' money into what we call index treasury notes, where if we invest all your money in a T-bill, and then we just take the interest. Let's say right now I can get 5.25%, which is about what I can get. I could pull the interest, what we call the future cash flows of what that's going to return. So if you've got $1 million, I could take $950,000, put it in a T-bill. I could take $50,000, put it in a market leveraged instrument, give you 60+% of the upside with absolutely no downside risk. So you're not locking your money into an annuity for 10 to 30 years. They're not smoke and mirroring you and telling you what you're going to make and giving you bonuses that aren't real. You're locking your money up for 1 year at a time. Every year it matures. If the market's down, you can reinvest it losing no money. The market's up, you capture 60%, locking in that account, returning and reinvesting. I've never seen a better time in 21 years to invest, period, end of story. And it's because of interest rates. Interest rates haven't been this high. It's a tool that I've used. These tools are relatively becoming popular. And that's essentially what an index annuity is doing, only they're sucking most of the gains, and the insurance company's taking it and they're giving you a little portion. So why not circumvent what the annuity's doing? Banks are doing it too, but banks are doing the same thing. They're sucking all the juice. What we do at our firm is we build them, we manufacture them right in my client's account. There's no extra cost involved, and it really gives my client that flexibility, the liquidity, the return, and that safety. We also can get it to where we can give you notes that are more aggressive for younger people, and maybe you're only introducing risk if the markets drop more than 1.5 or 2 standard deviations. So that's a good concept, and I could definitely give you some information on that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that would be helpful. So we've talked about what we want to do with your house. We talked about you have a trust. We're going to make sure your trust has a generational skip provision. We could definitely get your attorney involved in that, or if not, we could refer you to an attorney that can help you with that. We talked about the whole labeling thing with divorce and lawsuit, especially with your daughter. We've talked about the fact that probably going to move into a senior living facility, and that I think is a good option. Your investments, the fact that I don't think annuities are good. In fact, I know annuities aren't good. I will give you my 28-page booklet, or send you a link to my 28-page booklet on why annuities are not what you think they are. We charge a flat 1% to manage money. We're no games. We charge a management fee. These kids that are selling annuities, they're clients walking in the office, what they're doing, and I know it, I have friends that do this all the time, and with a snicker, as clients walk in with $1 million, they say, oh, we're going to put $500,000 in this annuity that's going to guarantee you income for life. Well, they just made 10% on $500,000. They just made a $50,000 commission. And then we're going to put your half money in managed money. Well, I'll charge you 1%. We'll put it in mutual funds, Fidelity, and Vanguard, and all these different stuff. Well, what did the agent make? Well, the agent made, on the $500,000, they'll make 1%, so they'll make $5,000 a year on that $500,000. But they just made $50,000 over here. So you walked in the door, and the agent just made $50,000 commission. That's what's motivating the sale of annuity. Not that it's a great product. It's not. Unfortunately, our society is driven by greed. And I'm sorry to say that because I'm in the business. And I hate the fact that I look around my business and I am disgusted. I am disgusted with the people that are in this business, and they're screwing seniors. And anybody wants to challenge me on this, let's do it. Let's have a debate, and you tell me why you're putting people in annuities and it's best for them. Because it's not. It's not best for them. There may be one annuity that I like, and that's what they call Annuity, where I could put an annuity, a fixed annuity, into something that will give me a long-term care benefit at 3 to 1. So if I put $100,000, it'll give me $300,000 for long-term care, and maybe I make 1% on an annuity, but I'm using it to leverage up an asset to pay for long-term care. But other than that, I wouldn't ever buy an annuity. Now, yes, 20 years ago, when these things started to come up, they were good, but then the insurance company took all the value out of them. And I remember prior to 2000, I thought they were a great investment. And then after 2000, they just started to go downhill. They have so many little bells and whistles that are hidden caveats, like guarantee you return, but it's for 1 year. And then after 1 year, you're locked in for the next 20 years, and you're getting a lousy return. It's devil's in the details. Everybody has an agenda, and unfortunately greed drives everything in our society. Greed drives everything. Anything else you can think, Teresa, that I can help you with today?
Well, other than knowing at my age that I'm a target for things coming through email, through the telephone, through texting, and mail, snail mail.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I deal with a lot of seniors. My probably average client is well into their 70s and 80s. And I see this all the time. I see my clients get catfished all the time. A couple things I would say is be very wary of ever getting an email from anything. Your bank account is hacked, please call immediately. You didn't pay your Excel bill, please call immediately. You order something from Amazon and it will be delivered in a couple days, and if you didn't order it, please call us immediately. 90% of the stuff that you're getting that's uh-ohs are scams. And the best advice I can give is, call your financial advisor if you trust them. I tell my clients, call me, my office immediately. I'll look into it. I'll have my team look into it. I got a lot of bright people that work for me and are very good at what they do. But thank you for bringing that up, because there's so many seniors that are getting catfished. I know my mom, she was getting hit. I looked at her statement, and $180 a month coming out of her account. I go, Mom, what is this? She goes, I don't know. I looked into it. It was a scam. And we told the credit card company, and they reversed it, but it happens all the time. Happens to young people.
Well, even getting the letters, and they're so good at doing it that they're using the real logo of the companies.
Yes. You're getting online, it looks like the company, you click on it, and it's a click form, it's clickbait.
Now, I even in the U.S. mail, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I brought you guys a letter to check for me today.
Right, and my assistant is looking, and thank you, we're gonna look into that and see if it's real. Because it seems so convincing, the letterhead, this is going on, you inherited money, or it's a lawsuit, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's a pension benefit. A widow's, that's what I am, pension benefit.
I see, okay. But Teresa, thank you for coming and talking with us today on Financial Matters.
Well, thank you for helping me.
It was very nice meeting you.
Feel better about it.
Sure, and I'll definitely look into some of these issues for you. And
having a little bit of worry.
Well, worry is not.
My little red flag went up.
Well, we're going to check in some of these things, and thank you for another episode of Watching Financial Matters, and stay tuned for our next episode on what matters to you financially. Thank you.